Good evening. I am Scott, one of the, well, producer and
Producer.
editor extraordinaire of Walk with History. So we're jumping back on. We actually just did a Talk with History live stream. And if you're watching this after the fact, you'll probably know what this is about, but we're reacting to the death of Lisa Marie Presley.
Yeah, it just broke that Lisa Marie passed away at age 54 in Calabasas, California. She had suffered a cardiac arrest and passed away.
And one of the reasons that we wanted to jump on and talk about, a little bit about this and react to the death of Lisa Marie Presley is because we've actually done quite a few videos on Elvis Presley. You've know a fair amount. I wouldn't call you an Elvis Presley historian, but you know a lot about him. Your parents listen to him all the time,
It's their wedding song.
it's
So it's not, you probably be like, well, why are they talking about Elvis Presley? It's because we lived in Memphis for 3 years. I got my master's degree at the University of Memphis. And you're like, well, what does that mean? It means if you live in Memphis, Tennessee, you know Elvis Presley. You
yeah.
cannot get away from Elvis Presley in Memphis, Tennessee.
And it's one of those things too, and there's a lot of Elvis fans out there. There's lots of Elvis fans out there.
Amazing. I was there for the 40th anniversary of his death.
That's right.
And they shut down the street and it was packed. And I talk about this, I think, in one of our podcasts, but most everyone was not from America.
Yeah.
I asked a lot of questions, and Elvis has a major influence on people's lives. And not only that, but his daughter and Austin Butler just won the Golden Globe.
And Lisa Marie Presley was literally
Was
just
there.
at the Golden Globes. They were showing her the entire time.
Yeah, and she was reacting to Austin Butler winning.
And one of the things that I always thought was so interesting when we were living in Memphis, right? And we would go visit Graceland. And one of the things you learned about Graceland, you talk about on one of our videos, is that Lisa Marie would actually go to Graceland sometimes during the holidays. The public was not allowed to go upstairs.
Yep.
At Graceland. So if you go and visit Graceland, you're only doing downstairs and all of the others kind of surrounding.
You cannot go on the second
they have set up.
floor.
And so at Graceland, you can't go on the second floor, and that's because it was still a family area.
It was still her private residence.
And she would go up there for occasionally come into town for holidays or something like that,
Or
and actually stay there.
She was just in Memphis for his birthday.
Yep.
Because his birthday was just January 8th, and she was there. She cut the cake, and she took pictures with fans.
Yeah.
And she usually does stay on the second floor. The second floor is her bedroom, the office, and Elvis's bedroom. And it has been kept in a living situation since Elvis passed. And so she would visit and stay up there. She's used the house. As you probably saw, I think she had dinner with different people. She uses it during the holidays, and it's still her residence. Lisa Marie, Elvis Presley Enterprises owns all the land and all the other museums now.
Yep.
And the amphitheater and the restaurant and the Lisa Marie plane and Hound Dog. So there's the Lisa Marie plane and then the Hound Dog, the little plane. But she owns the house.
Yeah.
And so now the house will go to her daughter. Her daughter played the wife in that movie that we just saw with Chris Pratt. The Terminal List.
Oh.
That's
her daughter.
That's her daughter. Lisa Marie's daughter plays the wife in that.
The Terminal List that's on Amazon Prime or something like that.
Yes, that's Lisa Marie's daughter. She will now inherit Graceland. She's the oldest.
Oh, wow.
And Lisa Marie also has twin daughters that are younger. And she had a son who has passed. And if you watch our video on YouTube on Walk with History, he's buried in the meditation garden.
Yep.
With Elvis and his parents and his grandmother.
Do you think that they'll bury Lisa Marie there next to her father?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. That's just wild to think about. And one of the things, again, we'll kind of step back a little bit and talk about some of what we learned about Elvis Presley, right? Some of his family history. We have kind of another podcast channel, and on that channel, our most popular video is a movie about you reviewing.
I review Elvis
the movie.
Because like I said, I have a master's degree from the University of Memphis. I have been to Graceland so many times. I can't even tell you how many times I've been to Graceland. We saw Graceland before they redid it for the 40th anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
after they redid it for the 40th anniversary of his death. We went there when, like, nobody was there. Remember we went for my birthday?
Yeah, it was like and so that's December,
December,
right? So
but
it was
before the
nobody there.
40th anniversary, before they redid everything.
Yeah.
And it was like nobody was around. It's like we
Yeah.
had the whole place to ourselves. If you look at my pictures, it's like I'm welcoming you to Graceland. And before the 40th anniversary of his death, they bought all the property around it and built all these big museums
Yeah,
and
and so going back,
made it more
one of the things that
commercial.
we covered in our videos about Graceland and about Elvis and, people are wondering like, "Oh, did he build this whole thing for himself?" And people don't know the history of Graceland. So Graceland had actually been a mansion that was around for quite some time.
Yeah, and it's not named after Elvis's mom, Gladys. It's named after a socialite in the 1920s named Grace Toof.
Yeah,
And if you watch our video, I go to her grave at the end of that Walk with History video. But Lisa Marie, she's born there. Like her parents get married in 1967 and she's born in 1968. It's funny because Priscilla always said it's like 9 months from the time our wedding date to Lisa Marie's birth. It's like she had no real like
right.
honeymoon
Honeymoon
phase.
phase, right.
It was like I got married and I had Lisa Marie 9 months later. So Lisa Marie, if you ever go to Graceland, her playground was still in the backyard,
Yeah, that's
remember?
right.
And her horses were there. I mean, that was her home. And now to think about where she's gonna be buried there, and now that her daughter will own it, like I told you, this is a private residence. Her daughter might decide not to show it.
Sure.
Her daughter might decide to close it. Graceland's the second most visited home in the United States behind the White
Yeah,
House.
period.
Yeah.
What was so interesting too when you were there for the 40th anniversary of Elvis's death, right?
Mhm.
So if you guys don't know, welcome to the Walk with History channel. We're reacting to the passing of Lisa Marie Presley. Just heard, there's a Rolling Stone report, and I'm sure it's all over the news now.
Yes.
Um,
I've
but but
I'm a
Jen,
historian. I have a master's degree from the University of Memphis.
right, and so you were there at Graceland because every year they have Elvis Week in
Yes.
Memphis. If you've
It's a
never been to Memphis, right, if you're an Elvis fan, that's a great time to go to Memphis is Elvis Week, and it's typically the week prior
to his death,
to his
August
to his
16th.
death.
So that whole week
And
before August
and
16th.
we lived in the Memphis area. We lived in Memphis from 2016 to 2019.
Mhm.
So we were there for the 40th anniversary, and you went out there,
I went out there.
and it was but because when did he pass?
1977, the year I was born.
It was like October,
August 16th,
August.
1977.
So if you've ever been to the South, and Memphis is the South, in the summer, it's hot. It
Yeah,
is so hot there.
it was
And
so
so,
hot.
I mean, think about it, you're in the Mississippi Delta there. I mean, you're just across the border, right, from Mississippi.
It's hot.
So you were out there, and it was hot at Graceland on the 40th anniversary of his death.
I drank 3 bottles of water at night because
Yeah.
I went there at nighttime. Like I said, they shut down the whole street. I wonder now if we'll do something for Lisa Marie
It's very possible.
because her father's birthday was the 8th. Now she's past the 12th. I wonder if this will be a week, right? Now in Memphis, there'll be like Elvis's birthday and then Lisa Marie's death. Lisa Marie, when I did the 40th anniversary of the passing of Elvis Presley, and they shut down Elvis Presley Boulevard, which is that huge street in front of Graceland, and the people make shrines to Elvis. She lit candles. Her and Priscilla were there, and she had like a torch, and I think it's close to like 10 PM, about the time they feel Elvis might have passed.
Yeah.
Um, they light candles and you can walk up to his grave. You walk the road. If you watch our video, I'd walk the road for you up to the meditation garden where he is buried. Lisa Marie lit candles for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Everybody who was there, and this is while her son was still alive.
Yeah, she was out there with her son. Now,
Mhm.
I were you there while she was there?
I was there while she was there. I told myself, "I'm not standing in that line."
Yeah.
But people feel so connected to that family, like I told
Well,
you.
and one of the things I loved when you were there on the anniversary of Elvis's passing, and Lisa Marie is out there lighting candles, you actually went around and talked to people.
Oh, I interviewed tons of people because I
And you
wanted
just
to
you
know
just
why you're
said, "Why are
here.
you here?" "Why is Elvis important to you?"
Yeah, like, if you're on the channel now, what did Elvis mean to you? What does Lisa Marie mean to you?
Yeah.
These are people of our lives. that's why we're talking about her on Walk with History, because she is a historic figure. Lisa Marie is a historic figure, just like Priscilla Presley, just like Elvis Presley, and her passing is so at 54 years old. It's amazing to me. Like, it really is. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and we've got someone commenting in the chat, that healed and free 1973 said, "So sad, a lifelong fan of Elvis. I've been to Graceland many times through the years, enjoyed it greatly, and I agree that Elvis Week is a great time to visit Graceland." And that's what's so neat, right? Elvis is such uh, not only like a historic figure, but in his era, I mean, he was it. He was larger than life.
Yeah.
The first artist, first person to do a global broadcast,
Yes.
right? First one ever,
Ever.
ever
Global broadcast.
global
And
broadcast.
I always talk about my love of Elvis Presley. I love his music, but what I love most about Elvis Presley, and they do a very good job of honoring this in the museum, is his philanthropy.
Yeah.
That man, like, we have the and Lisa Marie was the same way. That's why I think she opened the home to the public, is she knew how much people loved her father.
Well, and we talk about, his philanthropy,
The Pearl Harbor
the
Memorial.
Pearl Harbor
We
Memorial.
have the Pearl Harbor Memorial because of Elvis Presley.
That's right.
They could not raise the funds for it. He went out to Hawaii, did a full concert, took no money, and all the money went to build the Pearl Harbor Memorial. I mean, it gets me every time, because that to me is just a person who really loves people and wants to give back, and that's who Elvis was. And I think his daughter took a lot of that from him.
Yeah.
Because he was always, like I said, if he was buying a Cadillac, he'd buy someone else a Cadillac. If he was, he would buy out the movies so he could go to the movies, and he would see people standing. You want to go to the movies too? Come on, let's go to the movies too. When we lived in Memphis, everybody had a personal Elvis Presley story.
Yep.
Right? Everybody, they either played football with him on his front lawn,
I use your phone real quick.
or they helped made an outfit for him that he performed at the fair. Somebody dated him. He went to the local high school there, so people knew him. And Lisa Marie, I think, saw a lot of that. And it always kind of got me when Elvis passed and Lisa Marie was there at the funeral, how most people were concerned about everybody else and not about her. I think Priscilla was very concerned about her, but I always thought about Lisa Marie and her father, and how much that is gonna impact her for the rest of her life. I mean, she's gone at 54, and here's a woman who, by her own right, is so historically significant, and married to Michael Jackson, married to Nicolas Cage, right? Making music, opening this home up to people, yet she made time to be at her dad's birthday. It's his 88th birthday that just happened. She
Yep.
made time to be at his death anniversaries. She was just at the Golden Globes. Like, it's just so amazing to me that, and I'm so glad that movie won.
Yeah.
Really, because we saw that movie.
Well, and yes, there's a couple people, I think they're clicking in. Hello, welcome to the Walk with History channel.
Walk with History channel.
So yes, incredibly blessed. I see you just commented. Yes, we just saw from Rolling Stone, and there's a couple other news outlets that are
54 years old.
So she just passed away at 54 years old, went into cardiac arrest.
Cardiac
I don't know
arrest.
if a lot of the other details are 100% accurate, but so we're reacting to that because we've done a lot of Elvis history.
We react to the Elvis movie. We let you know fact or fiction. I have a master's degree of American history from the University of Memphis. I didn't study Elvis Presley, but you're immersed in Elvis culture and history if you live in Memphis, Tennessee. And I have been to Graceland more times than I can count, Tupelo, and done so many tours of Sun Studio. We just lived Elvis history.
That's right.
Moving there, one of the first things I noticed, and I told you this, is everyone had this personal Elvis Presley story.
Yeah. So you actually met some people I don't, was this at the 40th anniversary of his passing during Elvis Week?
No, I was at dinner sitting beside some people.
You met random people that like babysat for him.
Yes. Played football with him on his front lawn.
Someone that didn't they go to prom with
Yes.
someone that went to prom with
Prom
him or
went to
something?
prom with him.
Or
His
something like
sister went
crazy,
to
like,
prom with him. Mhm.
so that was one of the neat things about living in Memphis for a couple years, and especially you being the
Yes.
historian and, like, if there's, one thing that I know that Jen is much, much better at is just going up to people and talking to them and asking them about, like, "Hey, what do you know of"
I immersed myself in it
Yeah,
because we were there during the 40th anniversary of the Martin Luther King assassination, the 50th anniversary of the Martin Luther King assassination. He was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee,
yep,
and we were there for the 40th anniversary of Elvis Presley's passing. And both times I asked people, "Why are you here? What did he mean to you? What's the significance of the impact on your life?" And for Elvis Presley, people just they resonated with him.
yeah,
He talked to them, he spoke to them, his music talked to them. I always say Elvis Presley is the quintessential American dream story because he's born into poverty in Tupelo, Texas. If you saw the movie Elvis, they do a pretty good job of showing you this. And then comes to Memphis, goes to high school, makes a record for his mother at the local recording studio, asked to come back and play some music, and they're about to, close up, and he starts to sing "That's All Right, Mama," and he starts to sing it kind of faster, and they record it, and then they play it at the local DJ in Memphis, and Dewey Phillips, and he plays it, like, over and over and over again, and he's the quintessential American dream story. From there, stardom hits and movies, and like you said, first ever global live broadcast.
yeah.
It makes a great comeback in 1968, and his daughter, I think people felt like a celebrity family.
Well, there's a couple people in the chat, and I really do appreciate you guys joining us and kind of if you're first learning of the passing of Lisa Marie, yeah, we just heard that. We had just finished another live stream for
Mhm,
a podcast that we record, Talk with History,
and it came
and
over.
it came over her phone, so we decided to jump back on a live stream. And there's a bunch of people in the chat that are saying true Elvis fans felt like Lisa Marie was part of their family because and I'd say right? If I was an Elvis fan, right? I'm 40,
Yeah.
right? I was
You can
not
still be an Elvis fan.
I was not around when Elvis was around, but if you were around and like grew up with Elvis and was
Mhm.
in that era, you probably felt that much more connected to him. And people in the chat here are saying, "Hey, you know, we felt like Lisa Marie was part of our family. They felt close to her."
Well, her if y of course you would feel that way. You saw him marry Priscilla in 1967 in Vegas. That was shown on TV, that was televised, and then Lisa Marie is born 9 months later,
Yeah.
and that's also recorded by the media, and you feel like she's your child. I mean, she's very much a part of media, and then even with the breakdown of the Presley marriage, you see Elvis's devotion to his daughter. Like, she is the most important thing in his life. Like, if you ever went to Graceland, to the upstairs where you cannot go, not open to the public, is Elvis's bedroom, Elvis's office, and Lisa Marie's bedroom. Those are the 3 rooms upstairs, and Lisa Marie has kept that as a private residence, and she protected that. She protected their lives, their private lives there. So, what will happen now to Graceland? I don't know. What will happen? Like I told you, I the daughter of Lisa Marie, who was in the terminal list with Chris Pratt, she plays his wife. She would most than likely now inherit Graceland because Graceland, the house is the one place that stays in the family. Elvis Presley Enterprises owns everything else around it, so the Graceland Hotel, um, or the guest house at Graceland, right next door, all the museums. There's an amphitheater there now, and the aircraft. There's the Lisa Marie aircraft and the Hound Dog aircraft. Those all belong to Elvis Presley Enterprises, which Lisa Marie was on the board of directors. But now, and the house always belonged to Lisa Marie. Now the house will probably be inherited by her daughter.
Yeah.
It's so hard to talk about. She's
Yeah.
50. I just saw her on the Golden
Yeah,
Globes.
and I, when Jen loves the Golden Globes, right? So
Yeah.
that's always a night for her. The Oscars are a night for her.
It's
She's cheering for everybody. She's cheering for all the people that she likes. She's cheering for Brad Pitt, right? Regardless of whether or not he's up for a Golden Globe. And I remember kind of watching Austin Butler because he's the one who has all this buzz, right?
Mhm.
That his performance in Elvis was truly incredible.
It was
To
incredible.
capture that
And
kind of
Lisa Marie
energy.
felt that way.
And I could see her, right? And it's interesting because, actors, some actors in Method and stuff like that, you could kind of hear a little bit of that leftover Elvis in
Mhm.
his voice. And I don't know if that's just Austin Butler being out there in the public, kind of talking about this for so much. But even I think it was an interview where you told me
Mhm.
that Lisa Marie commented on his performance, and she just thought, she commented on like how well he did, how she really thought that he captured
Yeah.
her father. And I saw that was one thing that caught my eye when I was watching the Golden Globes, and he was up there and won, and he's thanking all these people, and then he turns and he thanks Lisa Marie.
Yes.
And you could tell she was just so emotional.
Yes.
She was so emotional. And it must have been, I actually wondered in my head, I was like, I wonder if she hears a bit of her father standing up there on that stage, right, accepting this award. And it was just really interesting to me because I could see it. And I am just kind of watching out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
That's what I do in our house, right? And I kind of watch out of the corner of my eye. I watch for the funny bits of the Golden Globes
Yeah.
or whatever like that. I don't really care about the red carpet or the dresses or anything like that.
I know.
As entertaining as some of the interviewers are, but watching, Austin Butler up there and the cameras,
Mhm.
training on Lisa Marie, and Austin Butler, he won the Golden Globe for Best Actor.
I get teary-eyed because he said, "Thank you, Lisa Marie. Thank you, Elvis Presley."
Right.
And like Elvis still to this day has such a pull.
Yeah, he
on
does.
us.
He does. And that's not more evident. Our kind of traditional videos on him didn't do the best, right? And that's probably because for me, maybe it's the thumbnail's wrong or something like
We
that.
have videos from
But
Elvis Presley from Graceland.
again, our movie review of the Elvis
Our
movie
movie
on
review.
we've got another Talk with History podcast channel that we have on YouTube. We don't do much with it. We just put stuff over there. But I actually
We reviewed the
we
movie.
reviewed the movie and we cut clips in, and that video has a ton of views because people love to hear and talk about Elvis. People are passionate about Elvis.
Authenticness of him,
Yeah.
right? Because the thing about Elvis Presley was the authenticness of him. I don't think he did what there was no agenda.
Yeah.
He's not trying to sell all these records. He's not trying to influence rock and roll. He just is those things. And it was just authentically who he was. And that's what came out from it all. And then, his daughter, I think his daughter was always kind of searching to have that back.
Yeah.
Right. Because like I said before, I feel like, Lisa Marie had to share her father with all these people and then lose him so early
Yeah.
that, and I think she was very appreciative of people who loved her dad because,
Yeah.
like I said, she was there for the 40th anniversary. She was lighting those candles. She was just at Graceland for his birthday. She's there at the Golden Globes supporting his movie. I think she was always trying to find that connection again to her father, and now to pass so young. I mean, cardiac arrest, 54 years old.
Yeah, I saw, there's a thank you to everyone who's kind of joining us and
Yes.
kind of commenting, and some folks are finding out for the first time, and so if you're finding out for the first time, Lisa Marie, she has passed at the age of 54, born in 1967 and passed in 2020.
1968.
You said 67.
They were married in 67. They were married in 67. 9 months later, she's
Okay.
born February 1st, 1968 in
Okay.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then she passes today.
Yeah.
Right after her father's birthday.
Yeah.
And right before her birthday.
So I mean, I wonder if that'll just be even a bigger piece of Elvis Week.
Elvis Week
right?
now.
Because that's, if you don't know, right, if you're the casual Elvis fan and you're just kind of clicking in to hear about this, Elvis Week is a pretty big deal in Memphis. It's the week prior to the anniversary of his passing. And so that's, obviously that won't be coming up till August.
Yeah.
But there's enough time between now and then, right? And we were
Mhm.
talking about earlier, 20 minutes ago,
She will more than likely be
she'll
buried in the
probably
meditation
now be
garden.
buried in the
Her
meditation
son
garden
is there,
next to her son
Benjamin.
and next to her
Mhm.
father. And there's other people saying, that now she's going to be with her father,
Yeah,
you know.
that's so true.
Um,
I wonder, Elvis is buried between his parents. Benjamin, if you watched our video I show you in the meditation garden where Elvis is buried with his family is open every morning to the general public. So you don't have to buy a ticket to Graceland if you want to go visit Elvis's grave. And it's open early. What is it, like 8:30 a.m., 7:30 a.m. to 8:30?
yeah,
Super
I think you
early for
said
1
that,
hour.
yeah, for 1 hour you can kind of walk up and visit the meditation
Yes,
garden.
and so Elvis is buried between his parents. His grandmother is there. Benjamin, his grandson, is there. Lisa Marie's son, who passed not too long ago, and then a little memorial to Elvis's twin brother, who they're not ever sure where he was buried. Um, so I don't know what they'll do. I don't know if they'll move one of the parents so could be
Oh,
beside her
I'm not
father.
sure. Yeah.
I don't know. If you look at our video, you can see the area is kind of tight anyway. I don't know if they'll maybe move out some of the wall. So Elvis Presley wasn't originally buried at Graceland. He was originally buried in the local cemetery, I think Forest Hill out in town. But within a week, people were trying to break into his grave. So his father,
Yeah.
Vernon, decided to move his grave to Graceland for more protection.
And if I remember right, that's where the angel that's in the meditation garden, did they
So
bring that over?
yes, so those are the things. Elvis's mother was in Forest Hill, and when they moved Elvis to the meditation garden, they moved his mother to the meditation garden, and the big cross you see, and
That's
if you
right.
watch our
That's
video
what it is.
of the angel, that was all the Presley tombstone or monument in the cemetery. So they brought all of that to the meditation garden. Now that would be a good for Lisa Marie. There is definitely space, but to be beside her father, they would have to move some things around. But it's just so, gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
54.
Yeah. It truly is sad, but
Three, I think she leaves behind three children, three daughters.
3 daughters that are
Mhm.
still living.
Yeah.
Do you know what the other two kind of what they're doing? I know you said the one was the actress.
She has twin girls and they're younger. I
Okay.
think they're like 13.
Okay. So they're still,
So I'm sure,
somewhere high school
yeah,
age or
I'm
something
sure
like that.
Priscilla will step in,
Okay.
and I think their father is still alive as well. But
Yeah. Yeah. And again, we thank you for everyone kind of jumping in the chat.
yeah, we were just so overwhelmed. We were doing a podcast, and we're a history channel,
And we had
and we
just
do
signed off.
Elvis.
We were talking about Gettysburg, not 30
And
minutes
we were
ago.
so overwhelmed with this history. We wanted to talk about it because Elvis is a big part of our channel.
Yeah.
Because he's a big part of my master's degree. Memphis is a big part of our lives. We're going to move back, hopefully move back to
Yeah.
Memphis.
I actually first visited Graceland long before I ever knew you.
Mhm.
And I may have mentioned this at some point in time, but after college for me, I went to college in the Maryland area and drove out back to California where I'm from, and I visited Graceland along the way. My best friend from high school came. We drove the cross country. Right, this is 2004
Mhm.
when I graduated from college, and so we drove across and we're kind of trying to hit famous spots along the way, and that was like even in 2004. Right, again, that was creeping up on, gosh, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
um, we went and toured Graceland. The
Mhm.
Jungle Room, it looks exactly the same. It
Yes.
looks exactly the same. I think we didn't have iPads like they do now. We just had the old school
They give you a
tapes.
tour with the iPad
You know,
now, and it's John Stamos.
that's right.
He's the guide, and you wear the headset and you can move from room to room, and it's a self-guided tour, but everything is covered. So does still look the same. But like I said, the second floor was her personal residence. You
Yeah,
couldn't go up there, and it probably was lived in and used because she stayed up there.
yeah. And one of the things I always thought was cool, and it kind of it contributes to the whole Elvis, to who he was, is most of his words were for gospel.
Yeah, he never won any. He has 3 Grammys,
Yeah,
all for gospel.
all for gospel. So as you're walking through Graceland, and if you're jumping in the chat and you're Elvis fan, if you've ever been to Graceland, please, let us know kind of what you remember from Graceland.
Yeah, and if you're jumping in, this is a reaction to Lisa Marie's passing.
Yes.
We wanted to talk about it because as a historian, we've talked about Elvis a lot, and we're from Memphis,
And,
and
and I'm sure if we get back to Memphis, we'll probably end up doing a short video,
sure,
visiting Graceland again,
sure.
because we'll be visiting. A lot of times what we do for history is we visit the site where someone's buried, right?
Mhm.
Because
We'd take
that's
you there.
we take you there. That's what we do on this channel. We
Mhm.
go to that location. And it's always kind of an honor to do that, to remember this person who played a large part of
Mhm.
history, whether it's pop culture or philanthropy or in the military or whatever it was.
Elvis is a veteran. Mhm.
And Elvis is a veteran, but is his daughter Lisa Marie, right? You- She's a part of American culture,
She is.
and so she'll have that piece of American history. And so I'm sure we're gonna go back to Graceland, and we'll visit that.
Yeah.
Um,
But you were saying that you visited. So,
I've
when you visited, it's before they redid everything.
it's before they redid everything. It had been like
Everything was in the racquetball court
everything was in the racquetball court, all
and the
his
pool
awards
house.
and the pool house, and
Mhm.
so everything was all kind of collected and together. But it always struck me that all a lot of his awards were for gospel, because that's
Gospel.
kind of who he was.
If
He was so rooted in church.
Yes.
That's where he grew up, and that's one of the things I think I remember. Now they play it up a lot in the new movie.
They do. Where it
It's
was just really just a
the
part of his life.
director's kind of goes way
Baz.
above and beyond, and kind of his artistic take on
Mhm.
Elvis. Um, but that always kind of struck me. And then kind of the more I learned about him, the more I'd learn about how philanthropic he was and
Yes.
everything that he did. And we talked about earlier, about 15 minutes earlier, if you didn't know, he's responsible for the
The
Pearl
per
Harbor Memorial
Mhm. Elvis Presley.
in Hawaii, right? So that's the concert that he put on. All the proceeds from that, right, went to help fund the Pearl Harbor
And I
Memorial.
think, and like I said, I think Lisa was very influenced by that. That's why she lit all the candles for all those people on
Yeah,
the 40th anniversary of his death. I think that's why she's at Graceland just 4 days before her death for her dad's birthday,
yeah,
and then she's flying back to California for the Golden Globes, and
yeah,
unfortunately, she's passed today, but I think Lisa Marie, that really she felt like a person of the people. Her father belonged to the people. She was a person of the people. But we just wanted to get on and just kind of be here. If you know, we will probably cover Lisa Marie. We will probably cover Graceland further down.
yeah.
If you, we do have videos from Graceland, from the meditation
Yeah,
garden.
and what I'll do is
If you'd like to
on our
see any of
channel,
those
if you're
things.
curious, I'll create an Elvis playlist, and I'll move it up to the top for a little while.
Mhm.
So if you want to go to our channel, you can search for it, but I'll put those videos on there, because the videos we do from Graceland also cover Graceland and the house that he lived at before Graceland.
Yes, that's the whole point. We talk about why he bought Graceland, when he bought Graceland, where's the name come from, and then I take you there to show you what Graceland looks like today. And like I said, it's open to the public every morning because he's buried there. That's open to the public for everybody.
Yeah,
And we surmise that Lisa Marie will be there shortly as well.
yeah,
And like Scott was saying, Elvis Week is the week of his death, August 16th. They play Elvis on the radio nonstop. This is
yeah,
every radio station in Memphis,
yeah. It's
not
actually
just
it's actually
Elvis
pretty neat.
stations. It's every radio station, and there is a lot of gospel.
Yeah,
I never realized till I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and it was Elvis week, how much gospel Elvis Presley sang.
yeah,
Because when you're hearing him for a week straight, you can only play the popular songs so much. But we thank you for joining us.
yeah.
If
Thank
you're
you.
overwhelmed like we are, we just wanted to reach out and
Yeah, and we just kind of wanted to put a little, put our face on it. And this is our reaction,
mhm.
and us kind of remembering, not just Elvis, but obviously Lisa Marie and the part that she played in Elvis's life,
Keeping his story
and
alive.
keeping his story alive. And for again, for
That was her.
a lot of the people here who are just deep Elvis fans,
Mhm.
they felt connected to Elvis and his family, and
Yes.
Lisa Marie was a big piece of that.
But
So thank you so much for
eh,
joining us.
thank you for joining us, and maybe in some way they're reunited
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, maybe some way they're reunited. So again, we're not going to sit here and hang out for forever, but if you're like us, hopefully you can kind of remember Lisa Marie for what she did.
Yeah, and thank
And
you for keeping his home open to us. Thank you for
absolutely,
keeping his story for all of us, because we were not alive during Elvis's life,
yeah,
yet he impacts our life today.
yeah,
And it's because she keeps his story alive. I would say Priscilla does too, but Lisa Marie has the final say on that, or she did. Now her daughter will have the final say on that, but they keep his story alive, and for that we're grateful, and we were grateful for her, and we just want to remember her.
And we just want to remember her. And again, this is our reaction, and I think a lot of people in the chat are reacting as well. So, um,
Thank you.
thank you so much for joining us. This is a different kind of walk with history. This is kind of more, a little bit more of a memory walk and a reaction.
Yes.
So
Yeah, if you wanna see, like I said, if you wanna see Graceland, if you wanna see the meditation garden, the whole premise of our channel is we take you to the location, and we have been to Graceland. There is a video of it if you'd like to see it. And this will probably be what it looks like before Lisa Marie will be there as well.
yeah, we'll keep their family in our prayers, and we'll keep them in our thoughts. And I'm sure there's lots and lots of people that will never forget everything that they can kind of contributed
Yes,
to our culture, to pop culture, to American history.
to American history. Yeah, so thank you for your life, Lisa Marie, and
Yeah.
thank you for keeping your father's memory alive for all of us.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
God bless.
we hope you guys have a good rest of the evening, and hug a loved one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.